Hi everybody, I wanted to do a video explaining how to make a good mixing medium to use with MAC pigments. So I've got a sample pigment here. I'm going to use Lovely Lily, which is a really nice lilac colour. So we're going to test out the mixing medium that we'll make on that. What you're going to need glycerin. I get this in a little, I think it's 38ml bottle I get it in the baking aisle at my local supermarket, but I've heard people in America talk about getting it from craft aisles and first aid aisles as well. Apparently it's good for first aid. I know people use it in herbal baths and things, so different places where it could be, maybe in like a drugstore or a pharmacy, but we get ours, it's a super cook glycerin. We actually remember when we eat it when we've got a cough, when we're ill, so it works for a lot of different things. So you're going to need glycerin, you're going to need water. This is water I pre-boiled, it doesn't have a smell, don't worry. I boiled it earlier just to clean it out, but you can use distilled water, spring water, I don't know, or just tap water really, and something to put it in. What I've got a little film case that ye olde camera film used to come in, and it's good because it's got a lid so it'll store better and you can give it a shake just to mix it up a bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to mix 1 part glycerin with 3 parts water, and I'm going to start by pouring some glycerin in. So however much glycerin I put in, I'm going to put 3 times as much water in. So I don't know if you can actually see it. Oh, it's glowing, looks like a little lamp, right? And so we're going to add 3 times as much water. Like so. And you can play around, you can experiment and get the best consistency for you. You don't want to make it too watery, and then when you actually use it with the pigments, you don't want to use too much of it because it'll make it really loose and it'll just crease like mad. But you don't want to have it too thick because it'll just be, you know, barely there. So you want to get a good consistency, so that when you do use it you can get a really nice creamy consistency, and your pigments will stick much better. They'll actually be like a creamy eyeshadow. Right, I just put in a little bit more glycerin. So glycerin's quite sticky on its own. It's eye safe, but you wouldn't want to use it on its own next to your eye. Okay, yeah, I'm making a right mess. Good job you can't see. Okay, so I think that's still a bit watery. That's alright, we've got glycerin to play with. So I've heard different things about how long it keeps for. I've heard that it only lasts about 2 weeks, but if you're just using it for yourself, you don't have any eye infections, keep your brushes clean, you don't share things around, I don't see why it won't last for longer. And right, so you can see now, oh, you can't even see it really, can you? There you go, you can see, let me plaster out the way. So you can see now how much I've got in there. That's going to last quite a long time. I know you can buy samples of mixing medium of people on LiveJournal and Makeup Alley and Spectra. eBay doesn't allow samples anymore of anything, so don't bother looking there. I'd be quite wary of what you get on eBay anyway, so right, just give everything a wipe down, just to make sure it's all clean. And then to use, I'm just going to pop it open. Now we're going to take a brush. I'm going to take this MAC 213, I think it is. This is a travel brush, and a pigment. Right, I like to put pigments, even if I've got a full jar, I like to put them into sample jars, because I'm actually a really clumsy person, and if I spill a whole jar I'd be devastated. So I think it's much nicer to spill just a sample jar than a whole full jar. So we're going to just tap a little bit of pigment into the lid, and I'm going to dip my brush into the mixing medium. Okay, so just dip it in a little bit, and then I'm going to swish it around in the lid just to get the brush coated nicely. So this is quite similar to using things like Kryolan and I think it's Mehron aqua colours, and they're activated by using liquid. So this is a similar sort of concept. So this is just using your pigments wet, and then just brush it on. Okay, so if you add more water or add more mixing medium, you get, oh, it's not showing up very well. Where are we? Where's the camera gone? You can see that it's there. Just trust us that it's there. So yeah, if you add more liquid, you're going to get a finer consistency. If you use less liquid, you're going to get a thicker paste, as it were. And it's going to look a bit sort of glossy shiny at first. And then when it dries, it'll form a really good base. So see if I can get blinding myself here. I'm absolutely rubbish with this light, I'm really sorry. There you go, see, when I stop playing with it, it's fine. So now you can put you can mix other pigments with it. You can put eyeshadows on top of that. It'll act as a base, just like shade sticks or paints or something will. And if you get a good consistency, it's worth to play around and get a good consistency, and it won't crease, and it'll last you know, for hours and hours and hours. So just let it dry. It's already pretty dry. You've got yourself a really nice base there. So other things would be good to use it in. You can use it in a little bottle, because then you can actually put drops in. But I also brought up a plastic spoon, thinking that maybe that would work as well. And if you use things like pigments, you could just put a drop or two in the lid and then mix it in with the brush. So put it in sample jars, you can put it in little craft jars, different sizes. So I've just made that today, and it's the 18th of August, so we're going to give it a try. I think I'll do a tutorial using that after this, see how it goes, and I'll let you know how long it lasts, okay?